The very first is followed quickly by, which may lead to resulting in one or two and a great deal of. Unleash the good times and book online for group packages from €10 per person at gogreyhoundracing.ie. Subject to availability. Terms and conditions apply.
In 2018, I learned my brother-in-law had never listened to a podcast, but now we record a weekly podcast where we discuss the medium in all its great detail, and I also get to do things like ask him any weird questions that might occur to me throughout the week. Doug, do you think ever in history, someone has jumped off a building with the intention of killing themselves and shot themselves on the way down just to, really go for it?
Yes.
All right, this is making Doug listen to podcasts, and this is our theme song.
Doug's just a normal guy, still has his own, but he doesn't know why. Now the writing's on the wall. It's time he left the past, gonna listen to his first podcast. We know he's gonna have a ball. Interview celebrities, politics and all comedy. We'll make him listen to it all. Now here's Doug.
Well, folks, if you like that, you are in for a doozy of an episode because it's going to be nonstop fun today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Podiverse. We are gathered around the old dining room table once again to bring you the show that's part podcast review and part long-form experiment where we force my brother-in-law to listen to podcasts and then force him to discuss them with us. For you, I'm joined, as always, by, I'm going to tell you right now, I know you guys can't see it because this is an audio medium, possibly the two sexiest men in podcasting. To my left is...
Hey, it's Brandon, everybody.
Yeah, that's Brandon over there. Also, very, very sexy bedroom voice today, too, Brandon.
Gotta keep it sexy.
You keep... Dude,
this is the Valentine's edition, you know?
It is the Valentine's edition, and we're going to be throwing out so much more love after that. But I think Brandon, unless I'm mistaken, has gotten us off to the right foot. I am rock hard right now.
I love that right foot, baby.
Yep.
Give me them feet.
All right, so we're going to get into foot fetishes as well later today. And, of course, I'm joined by the other sexiest guy in podcasting to my right.
Sup?
Okay.
Fellas, I'm just saying right now.
It's Urban Doug yet again.
And I hope you guys are ready for me to rock your world this week.
Oh, well, Doug absolutely setting the stage here for real fireworks today on this love and romance themed episode.
As always, he keeps his cards close to his chest. You know, we're not exactly sure what he's going to say.
It could be
but
anything.
My God, it's going to be bombastic.
Right.
It's going to be something.
He could be announcing his intention to run in 2020, the presidential election.
Highly unlikely.
Very unlikely. It's love and romance themed. It could be just maybe an update about that rash that he got last week.
It could be, yeah. It's something involving his overall skin issues.
Mm-hmm. He may just jump across the table and try to fight us.
That is definitely a possibility.
It is always a possibility.
I just think it's funny that I actually, listened to the podcast this week and didn't even occur to me that this was Love and Romance Valentine's Day themed.
Now,
not a clue.
Brandon,
not a clue.
We're going to get in the old Wayback Machine for a minute. Brandon, when we prompted this last week and told both Doug and our wonderful listeners what they would be listening to, what we'd be discussing this week, we were pretty clear that this was going to come up the day before Valentine's Day. It was love and romance related. That your beautiful once fiance, now wife, Maria. Say Maria, say hello.
Ex-fiance.
Sorry, your former fiance. I'm so sorry, by the way, that didn't work out.
Yes, what a tragedy. Hello, everyone. I'm Maria. Hi.
Maria, do you ever think of your marriage meaning that the engagement didn't work out? That's why you ended the engagement, or it worked out exactly right?
No, it was a horrible engagement, but a wonderful marriage. So
it was tough for all of us, but I have to tell you, the marriage has been a lot easier, I think.
Yes.
Well, you guys, Maria is ready to go and to talk about anything today, I can tell. Well, we've just found out, apparently a surprise to Doug, this is our love and romance episisode. Brandon,
I want to jump in, and yeah. I'm curious to know if Doug has a tendency to celebrate Valentine's Day, and that's why, or is it something where you don't think about it, you're not planning for it and don't have any kind of interest in it, or is it something that's so regular, you do it so often that you don't even think about it anymore? It's just, the flowers and the candies and all that good stuff are
Do you treat every day like Valentine's Day?
Well, let's just say, it is regular in that it recurs every year. Mm-hmm. But no, Actually, I go with what my wife once said to me, and that is that Valentine's Day is for amateurs.
She's tough.
Maria, do you feel the same way?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, truly, it's a nice little made-up holiday.
All right, you're not the first guy. Yeah.
I would like to think that my wife thinks that she is loved and romanced every day.
I'm sure if we only had some way of
If
finding
only
out.
she was in the room.
You know what?
Doug tragically will never know.
She could write in to our email address.
What's that email address?
That is
Brandon?
mdltpodcasts@gmail.com. And she could let us know via an email, or she can jump on our Twitter at MDLT Podcasts.
Absolutely. Maybe join the discussions on our Facebook
Yeah,
page.
she could even start a discussion on our Facebook page if she wanted.
That would be wonderful.
Where would she find that, Doug?
She would find that on Facebook at MDLT Podcasts.
All right, so I have a follow-up question. Many men in many relationships, I'm assuming women and lots of different people, however you might self-identify, human beings, Doug, we're being inclusive. We're trying to be allies here at the show, are told by their mate things like that. Valentine's Day is for amateurs. I don't like Valentine's Day. I was once attacked by a florist on Valentine's Day. Don't get me roses. Do you, as a result, not do anything on Valentine's Day? Like anything big or special?
In recent
Like
past,
the last 5 Valentine's Days, if you think
probably
back.
nothing big and special. No, I'm sure we go out to dinner, that type
Right.
of thing, but nothing. I don't think we do anything specially because it's that day.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, and where I'm fortunate in that Maria's parents are jerks.
Yes.
And they produced her on the 31st of January.
Right.
Which means that I've got 15 scant days to try to, I got to do, and of course we got married in December. So now I've got December, January, and February, all of these kind of like romantic
Right.
gift giving. I really have set myself up for failure.
You haven't planned well.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, guys, maybe next time. But so you may be wondering, hey, I'm used to these 3 hunky guys around the table, but what's this 4th lovely lady doing here? Well, this is because Maria, Brandon's lovely, lovely wife, is our 3rd ever official MDLT podcast recommender. So she's here today to recommend a podcast that she felt would be appropriate for this season of love, this time of romance, of Eros, of what else?
Pathos, D'Artagnan.
Of Pathos,
All of the
yeah,
best
Aramis.
musketeers.
Exactly. All of that stuff. And basically, we've hauled her in here to explain herself. Maria, what podcast did we listen to this last week?
So I recommended Why Won't You Date Me from Nicole Byer, and I'm very curious to hear everyone's thoughts, and I'm keep moving the mic, sorry.
That's okay. Oh, we all like to look at Brandon when we're talking.
He's just so
dreamy.
beautiful. He's very dreamy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of my favorites. I am not a big podcast listener, but I make sure to always listen to Why Won't You Date Me?
If you had 3, what are your top 3 podcasts? We know Why Won't You Date Me is in there. It's a weekly for you, right?
Yes, absolutely. Doughboys
Yeah.
and Podcast The Ride.
That's funny. Of those 3, there's a omission that I've noticed there. At least the omission stood out to me.
Oh, of course, making Doug listen to podcasts.
There
My
you go.
absolute number one. It doesn't even count.
Maria,
It's so great.
it's so easy. It's all we need. Now, this podcast has been around since December of 2017, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty young. Doug, comments, Doug, thoughts?
I'm just laughing because when you posed that to her, it didn't even pop into my head that that's where you were going.
Doug, that doesn't surprise me at all. So this is a relatively young podcast, just a couple years now. We're already up to 60 episodes. It's really well reviewed. Was Nicole Byer someone you knew of before the podcast? How did you find out about it? How did you get into it?
Yeah, so the first time I heard about Nicole Byer was actually on Doughboys, where she's been a frequent guest, and she was always so funny, so quick-witted. And then when I heard that she had her own podcast, I listened and then became an immediate fan. I just fell in love with her even more.
Have you ever seen her perform live?
No, have we? No, no.
Did
I
you
have
guys
not yet.
go to the How Did This Get Made taping of
Yes,
Bloodsport?
Kumate. Yeah, she was there for that.
Exactly.
Gosh, never mind.
You did.
That's my first experience with her.
Absolutely.
I was wrong.
There you go. By the way, you're welcome, Maria, because
you,
those were
John.
tickets that I couldn't use that night.
Oh,
because I had a
what a treat.
stupid wedding to go to. I'm not saying all weddings are stupid. Yours, absolutely great
was a
time. It
little
was
stupid.
wonderful.
It's okay.
Well, they're all. I secretly also think they're all a little stupid. Maria, that's a John problem.
It's fair.
True story.
So I'm curious. Now, the show can get a little bit racy.
Indeed.
Oh,
yes.
I don't mean our show. I mean
our
show.
Your show does get a little bit
Absolutely.
racy.
Well, when we talk about a racy topic, if it's Dan Savage who happens to be in the house, if we've got Nicole Byer herself, a woman who is very open about her own sexuality, right? And this is something, even one of the episodes we listened to, her female guest was commenting on. That's kind of become your brand. Does the show ever make you uncomfortable? Was there ever any time you're like, this is a little much for me?
Not at all. And I think part of it is because it's so opposite of how I am. I am the most reserved person. I mean, not with Brandon, obviously, but with any other adult. And so I kind of just enjoy and bask in her openness and raunchiness, really.
Right. So it's like watching somebody like skydive in a squirrel suit where you're like, I'd never do that, but this is really enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it's like romance horror. Like, I don't want to actually be chased by a murderer, but I like watching it. I don't want to actually talk about this stuff myself, but I like listening to it.
I think that's probably how a lot of folks who listen to the show. The 2 episodes you chose for us, why those 2?
So for the Guy Fieri one was specifically hilarious to me just because of the connection to restaurants and food, and Guy Fieri as a character who is, I think, unfortunately maligned, and I think he's actually a good dude.
Okay,
but...
so you're going on record here. This is being recorded for posterity as a
Yes.
fan of Guy Fieri's.
Yes, we recently watched an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dive. I enjoyed it. Brandon did not. But and so the whole
Brandon, was that your first experience with that very popular show?
I had never seen it before, and Maria and her younger brother had watched many, many episodes, and so
Right.
she was actually kind of excited for me to like it and was a little disappointed when I didn't. And I don't
Okay.
have a problem with Guy Fieri. I just didn't like the way that the show was put together.
Okay.
Only because it's really fast edits, and it's a bunch
It
of
is.
people going like, "Oh, this bagel's really good. I love this bagel." And you're like, I don't care what Joe Schmo from New Jersey thinks about this bagel.
Sure.
But Guy Fieri is an interesting character, and it is really good to hear Nicole defend him and how much of a fan she is. And so
Right.
in the course of that episode, we'll get to it eventually.
We will, yes.
It's really fun to hear her talk about her
Right.
adoration for the long lost brother of the lead singer of Smash Mouth.
100%. Doug, Guy Fieri, yay or nay for you?
I have seen his show a couple times. I'm not a frequent watcher
Right.
of it. I have just by coincidence eaten at one of the restaurants that he did one episode on in Scottsdale, I think it was. That when I was there, that was like their big thing. They're like, yeah, we were on Diners, Drive-Ins, whatever the hell that
They had a
show's
big
called.
sign out the front. They had a big banner. It was like, "Guy loves us."
No, it's the entire city of Scottsdale. When you arrive, it now says, "Welcome to Scottsdale." Guy Fieri has a restaurant here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Well, no,
good
it's
for
not
small
his.
businesses.
Just one that he
When he reviews.
one of the ones he went to and
that was
drives.
on one of the
Yeah.
episodes.
It's
yeah.
really like
He is
those-
starting to expand wildly. He's got 2 locations at the Burbank Airport, apparently, a
Yeah,
cart and a restaurant.
According to the episode,
Yeah.
And I like that Guy Fieri does seem to have no limitations on how far he'll go as far as personal style.
Right.
And he's spun it out into an empire, so I can't hate on the guy.
Right. No, I agree. He's like a guy who raided Sammy Hagar's closet, but only took stuff that can be seen from space. Like anything that wasn't flames, leopard print, whatever. It's everything about him, dude. It's the wraparound shades, the flames. It's that he's still rocking the frosted hair.
That bleach blonde do is amazing.
It's amazing. Did everything about Fieri. But we'll get into the old Fieri one soon. Next episode that you recommended, which is Nicole opening her Bumble messages with the lovely and talented Fran Gillespie. Have you ever seen Fran Gillespie live?
No, she's another one I would love to see. I think she's similar to Nicole, is just someone who I kind of wish I could be. Just very sharp and open and I don't know, unapologetically herself, which kind
Right.
of ties into Guy Fieri as just people I admire. Like they just, as someone who apologizes for existing all the time, like these types of personalities I'm very drawn to. And so I just thought she was a fun presence on the podcast.
All right. Well, we're going to find out if Doug thought she was a fun presence on the podcast. What he thought
Can't
about
wait.
these podcasts in general. But you know the show. You've listened to the other episodes where I have a guest recommender. this is where we as a group unceremoniously kick you off our show.
Yay. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Marie,
I'm really
you did
awkward.
such a great job. You were awesome.
Okay, bye. Good luck.